That in a nutshell is, who we are. We have our curriculum is kind of focused towards a very analytical approach towards all of these programs. Kelly, can we skip to the next slide?
Absolutely.
We not only do we kind of focus on academics or curriculum, we actually also help you apply this while you're in school, so that you're not just getting a theoretical indoctrination into these techniques without having the opportunity to apply them. And there are many different ways in which we facilitate that. Obviously, internships is something that is very common across all business schools, and all of you at some point in your time would definitely have done an internship. So we facilitate internships with companies as well globally, actually, not only in the US, but also outside the US. And the other thing that we do is we do these consulting field projects, which are essentially collaborations with companies. We work with the company, and students work in a team of, let's say, 3 or 4 with a faculty member who is an expert in that particular area on a project that the company is trying to implement. So that's essentially what field projects are. And it gives our students a tremendous edge, because it actually lets them work with the company in real time, trying to address a problem that they're trying to solve. And in many instances, what happens in these field projects, that it leads to, essentially, if the company values what you're doing, they would immediately kind of, offer you a continuing internship. And in many cases, they have culminated in full-time jobs as well. Apart from these two, we obviously do or help you establish a big network in the US and globally as well, with connection to our alumni, connection to industry leaders. We organize treks, again, globally, to not only different parts of the US, but different parts of the world, to help you kind of connect to all these different companies. And the objective here is to kind of bring together everything that you learn in the classroom, and to allow you to kind of apply them, or give you an opportunity to kind of showcase your thoughts, your thought leadership process, and the opportunity to kind of apply them in these practical settings. So those are the two most interesting aspects of the business school. And Kelly, perhaps I can hand it over to you to talk a little bit more about the broader aspects.
Wonderful. Well, thank you. Yes, thanks, Debarshi. So obviously, Debarshi has talked a lot about, obviously, the strengths of the school. We offer, obviously, both extremely strong analytical and technical preparation, as well as the experiential opportunities that Debarshi talked about. I think one of the advantages of Brandeis is its proximity to Boston. Waltham, which is the suburb in which Brandeis is located, is just outside of Boston. And there is a commuter train, a train line that runs right off campus into downtown Boston. And so it provides this great balance for students between having a very traditional campus experience, while also having this immediate access to both a very diverse area within Waltham, as well as the Boston area for jobs, internships. The train line passes through Cambridge, so we have a number of students who are engaging with all aspects of this Boston metro area. Obviously, as you're aware, Boston is, of course, home to a number of other tremendous resources in terms of educational institutions. We actually have the opportunity for students to take advantage of coursework at other institutions in the area, should they so wish. So students could actually come into our program and potentially get approved to take a class at a neighboring institution, such as Boston College or Boston University or Tufts or Bentley, to be able to add to their curriculum here. I'll talk for a minute about 2 of our programs that are available to you, and then certainly Debarshi can speak further about the MSF program, of which he's the director. One of the programs that is available to students applying through the IIT partnership is our Master of Arts in International Economics and Finance. With all of the programs with IIT partnership, students are actually coming in June, which is the start of a summer term, and spending 12 months with us to finish the following May. This is typically a program that takes students, 12 years, 24 months to complete, but allows students with transfer credit from IIT to be able to reduce the program to just a 3-semester program. This is a unique, oh, go ahead, Debarshi.
Sorry, yeah, could you please mute everybody? Thank you.
Yes, yep. Okay. So in terms of the, great, all set. They, in terms of the program itself as well, Debarshi obviously talked about a number of different concentrations that are available across our programs. Concentrations within the MA program allow you to dig deeper into areas like economic analysis and consulting, analytics. If you're more interested in the financial side of economics, you could do a financial economics, marketing, real estate. So this is a broader program where the foundational courses are both in economics as well as finance, and then allowing students to get greater breadth in a variety of electives. This tends to be appropriate for students who might be thinking about consulting positions, research positions, policy, economic policy. So it's a very practical program as well. As Debarshi talked about, in each of our programs, you will have the opportunity to complete a field project, which is a consulting experience, or an internship. Additionally, there is, of course, research opportunities with our faculty as well. The second of the three programs that we offer is our Master of Science in Business Analytics. As Debarshi talked about, analytics is one of the core strengths within the business school. We launched the MSBA a number of years ago based on the strength that we were seeing in the job opportunities from students who were graduating with analytic skills. Similarly, the program starts in June. It's a calendar year of 12 months. This is a very technical program where students are looking at advanced analytical coursework such as machine learning, Python, information visualization, really to get a handle on the ability to take the data that is the mass amounts of data that are being produced across all industries and be able to turn these into actionable insights. So these are students who would often get into roles such as business analyst, data analyst. This runs across all industries. We've had students getting into marketing, in finance, operations, supply chain. So the skills that you're learning in this analytics program are really a foundational analytics program that can be applied across a number of different industries. And you can get experience in different industries through some electives that are part of the coursework. Debarshi, if you want to go ahead and talk a little bit about the MSF program, and then we can move into the career support.
Sure. Thanks, Kelly. So the MSF is a specialized program in finance. It's also very quant focused, and essentially it digs deeper into more specific focused areas within the financial services industry. So just to clarify the difference between the Masters in International Economics and Finance and the Masters in Finance, the main difference is primarily, number one is program length. The Masters, but that does not apply to, I believe, IITJ students, right?
Sorry, the question was?
The program length between the MA and the MSF, I think they are the same for the IIT.
Correct, they are, yes. Yeah, they're both allowed to be expedited.
Right, so they're both 16 months, so you don't have any difference there. The difference is primarily in the level of depth that you go into finance, whereas the Masters in International Economics and Finance is broader. It looks at more of the international focus. It looks more at the policy focus. It looks more at consulting type activities, where in economics and finance, in financial economics, the Masters in Finance looks more at in-depth finance roles at either financial institutions or at different companies or in consulting that are much more targeted towards different specific industries. So the concentrations that we have in the MSF program are in asset management, corporate finance and valuation, risk management, and the newest one we have is in fintech. So, I think asset management, corporate finance, valuation, and risk management are more traditional areas. The corporate finance valuation area also has a little bit of focus in consulting, in global consulting on transfer pricing. So that is basically what Deloitte, E&Y, PwC, and all the global, the big four accounting firms engage in. One of the areas in which they engage in, which is given that most businesses are global these days. Anyone that whenever things move across borders, there are tax implications and other corporate implications that have to be taken into account, and that kind of that has an impact on the strategic objectives of firms. So that's basically what transfer pricing is about, and that's one of the we are the only school actually that has a special focus on transfer pricing at the graduate level, and this is the courses are kind of offered in partnership with the professor who would be teaching you is one of the lead transfer pricing partners at Deloitte US. The fintech, which is the newest of the concentration, is more focused on integration of technology in finance. So you would be tooled up more on AI, ML. Obviously coding is part and parcel of that concentration. So, not only Python, R, you would also have other coding experience in that program. Applications of, artificial intelligence, natural language processing to some extent are integrated into how they can be applied in different finance situations. We also partner, the program also is a partner of one of the leading accelerators in Boston called Mass Challenge, which has a dedicated fintech incubator. And essentially the students kind of work. If you are interested in fintech, you would potentially be working on field projects with fintech companies from that incubator. Now, these are not these are not companies that are at the very starting stage, but rather these are companies that are kind of mid-stage of development. So these are somewhat advanced fintechs that already are, have partnerships with different banks or financial institutions, have, different have revenues and so on. So that's one of the new innovations that we offer. And just to put into perspective, I think one of the things that goes across all our programs is our ability to kind of react in a very agile manner to changing conditions. So agile innovation is what I would say is at the heart of what we do within the academic environment. So that's a little bit about the MSF programs. And then I think on the career and engagement sector, we focus a huge amount and put in a huge amount of resources on career objectives of our students, because primarily, if our success kind of depends on your success, and that's what we believe in. Every single program has dedicated career coaches. So you would be working one-on-one with these career coaches, in addition to all the other, career service classes and other things that we provide, networking opportunities, counseling, coaching. We have executive in residences who are leaders in their business, in the business world, who come in to talk to students. We organize a tremendous amount of workshops, panel discussions, on-campus recruiting, etc. So if you, at any point in time, if you go into our webpage, you would see announcements there on different things that are happening at any point in time. Kelly, do you want to talk about this? This is obviously like a sample of recent placements.
Exactly. So we have a list of all of career outcomes by program. As Debarshi talks about, the Career Center is very focused on meeting the student where they're at. The process starts early. So even prior to your arrival to our campus, you would begin working with your career coach to prepare for the start. Obviously with this fast program being just 12 months, you obviously come into the program and need to be fully prepared to kind of hit the ground running in terms of experiences, whether it's a part-time internship, whether it's a field project, whether it's job opportunities. You will be working very closely with your career coach to talk about your experiences, talk about what you're interested in doing, and the career coach will help advise you on the best types of resources. I think what's particularly unique about our program as well is, in addition to your career coach, you're paired with a program advisor. So for example, in the MSF program, you're paired with one of two MSF advisors who works in tandem with the career coach for the MSF program and works with students individually. So there is a real partnership between our career and academic office that really helps guide students, whether it's through curriculum choices or workshop choices or field project choices, to really make sure that both their academic and their career preparation is aligned. As Debarshi talked about, this is just a sample of companies where our students have been employed recently. Students will complete both internships and job opportunities in these types of companies. As I mentioned, there is a complete list, or a more extensive list, I should say, on the website, and also individual breakdowns of career outcomes by program on our website.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to echo that. I mean, if you go to our website and go to career outcomes, you will see very detailed outcomes by program. So it will tell you the sector, it will tell you exactly, what the relative rates of placements are and so on. So, it's very transparent. So you can get a very good look if you go to our website and look at the career outcomes page.
Great. I'll talk for a moment just about sort of the requirements and deadlines for the process of applying to our program. So students, I understand, might be interested potentially in starting at IIT either in the fall of 21, potentially in fall of 22. So depending on the timing, that will also obviously warrant when you'd be applying to us. In terms of the application process, as a part of our partnership, we have streamlined this process. We are test optional with GMAT or GRE, so we do not require a standardized test as part of your program. And through our partnership with IIT, we also will waive your English proficiency requirements, so you will not be required to submit a TOEFL or an IELTS or Duolingo score as well. So in terms of your application process, it's the application itself. We would ask for unofficial copies of your undergraduate transcript, your mark sheets, as well as a copy of your degree certificate if it's not already indicated in your mark sheets. If you have your first semester of IIT grades available, we encourage you to submit an unofficial copy of those as well, as that can be helpful to the admissions committee, particularly if your background is less so in areas of quantitative or analytical backgrounds. Depending on the coursework that you're doing at IIT, that could potentially help strengthen your application to see how you're doing in that coursework. 2 letters of recommendation are required. We are typically looking for one that is more academic focused, so a professor with whom you're working at IIT, or potentially from your undergraduate experience, as well as particularly one letter of recommendation that ideally comes from an internship, a mentor, professional mentor, who knows you potentially in a professional setting. A resume or curriculum vitae, a written essay, as well as a video essay, which is just an opportunity to show us a little bit about yourself as well. Once your application is submitted to the program, we will schedule an interview with you. And so a member of our admissions team looks forward to talking with you through the process to also answer any questions you may have and to be able to learn more about you and your interest in the program. Like I said, we depending on when you're interested in starting the program. So if you are planning to start at IIT in the fall of 21, for example, you would be applying to us for summer of 22, of June of 22. So that application will open right at the start of when you're starting at IIT. And so you would have really until mid-January to submit that application, and then we can turn decisions around relatively quickly for you before you have to decide if you'd like to enroll. So our applications will open later this year for 2022 cycle and opens in 2022, the start of that cycle for the 2023 intake. As you may be aware, through our partnership with IIT, we offer a significant discount in our tuition to students coming as part of this partnership. The estimated tuition is listed here. This is based on estimates of our tuition increases at the university, but most of our programs are anywhere from $70,000 to $100,000 US. So we are, again, trying to offer a very significant discount to students as part of this partnership. This is just the admissions office contact information. We'll definitely have time now for any specific questions, but certainly we encourage you to reach out. You can reach me at this email address. We're available online via chat system, by phone. One of the things that we'd be happy to do is talk individually with you if you have questions, or if you're deciding about which types of which program to pursue. Anybody on my team would be very happy to talk with you, and we can certainly also get you in contact with any current students. As Manish mentioned, we're delighted that we've been able to admit some IIT students and are very hopeful that many of them will start in the fall with us. So it may be possible as well, upon their start, to also connect with them to learn more about their experiences at Brandeis. Debarshi, do you want to, any final thoughts before questions?
I think, just going back to the very basics of why do we have this? And I think that as day in and day out, at least the industry and the world is becoming closer and closer. And so I think it benefits everybody to have global experience when you look into starting your career. And more we expect that in the future, this integration is going to continue, and it's going to continue and increase. Particularly, with respect to India and the US, one other thing that I would like to mention is that Brandeis also has an India initiative, and I'm the director of the India initiative as well. And the objective of the India initiative is to kind of foster ties or closer ties between India and the US. And part of our academic collaborations is, as you can see, this program. So we do this with leading universities in India. We also work with the Indian government. We also work with the Indian corporate sector. Our advisor is the former CEO of Tata Asset Management. So we have very strong ties between Brandeis and India. So we were the international partners to the Department of Science and Technology of the Government of India in one of the first sort of pilots that they did with something called the Smart 50 program. And we essentially are looking forward to building more connections with India across, not only across academia, but also across the corporate sector and the government sector. I mean, academia we already have. I mean, we are partners with some of the leading schools in India, and we continue to build on that. So I think I'll stop here, and perhaps we can take questions about anything that you might have in mind.
Yeah. Thanks, Debarshi. We had two questions come in via the chat. You're also welcome to unmute yourself at this time if you want to speak any of your questions, but feel free to type them as well. One of the questions was about submitting the application separately to both IIT and to Brandeis. Manish could certainly address the process for IIT, but essentially students are applying to the Brandeis program while they're in the IIT program. And so students are starting at it, and our application will open right around the time when you're beginning your program at IIT. So you would be applying to us during that first year of your program.
Yeah, but just to
Yeah.
clarify, Kelly, I think I also want to mention that what we highlighted is for admitted students to IIT. The partnership is only open to admitted students to IIT.
Yes,
You can
absolutely.
certainly
Yes.
apply. Yeah, you
Correct.
can
Exactly.
certainly apply directly to us, but that's a
Yes.
total. That's got nothing to do with this partnership.
Thank you. There was another question about estimated living costs per month while studying. I'm going to ahead and in the chat, just post a link. This is one of the programs within our tuition section of our website. So if you go into the programs and go into admissions and tuition, you can actually find links to estimated expenses for the programs. The link I sent is simply an example of the MA estimated expenses. These are added costs, unfortunately, that are beyond the tuition costs. And so these are things that you'll want to budget for as part of it. Costs will fluctuate. These are estimates, and sometimes they do err on the higher side. So depending on your living arrangements that you find, whether you're with multiple roommates, whether you're living alone, depending if you're living in Waltham versus Boston or Cambridge, one of the benefits of Waltham is, even though it's very close to Boston, it offers slightly more reasonable apartment rates versus living in potentially downtown Boston or Cambridge. So a lot of our students do choose to live right within the Waltham area. We also have a free shuttle that takes students around, and it runs until the early morning until the late at night. And so it's also a convenient way for students to get to and from campus if they're living within about a mile or so of campus. So
Just to add, the shuttle also on weekends, I think it also takes you to Cambridge, downtown Cambridge and downtown Boston. So it's not, it's kind of convenient. And also we are we have a train stop right on campus. So,
yep.
Which goes into Boston. So it's a 20 minute ride on the train to Boston.
Yeah.
Manish, you were going to say something perhaps when I think I interjected. So.
Yeah, no, I was saying the same thing what you said, that whatever you are saying, the benefits like the the discounted fee and the relaxed admission, and so this program is for the admitted students of IITJ, and also this is because of the students, since they have already made it to IIT, so they have cleared, they have proved their talent. So that is why I think Brandeis has entered into this kind of agreement with us. So that is what I was saying. Thank you.
Great. Other questions, feel free to chat them, or you are welcome to, again, unmute yourself if you wish to answer and speak of any questions.
Hey, I had a few questions.
Great, Ankit, please.
Yes, so all the programs that you mentioned, are all of them STEM programs or not?
Yes.
Yeah, they're all STEM designated. So regardless of if you choose a concentration or regardless of the concentration you may choose in the program, the degrees itself are STEM designated. So yep, each of the three would qualify you for that extension.
Okay, thanks. Also, the MA in Business Analytics program that you talked about, you told that it is on the technical side. So are the students who are not from the technical background, that is, who are not engineers, can they apply for the same or not?
Yes, they can. So, just to clarify, all our programs are on the technical side, actually. So the difference perhaps is the focus on coding is more in the MSBA program, which is the Business Analytics program, and the FinTech concentration of the Msf program. So these are the two areas where, you have to know how to code. We do, we have classes that teach you how to code as well. So we don't really require you to be an engineer to come in, but obviously any kind of coding, pre-experience in coding would be beneficial because you'll be able to pick it up quicker. It's not a prerequisite, but it definitely helps. So, and on the technical side, we don't mean that you have to be an engineer. You just have to have the requisite math and stats background to be able to pick these things up very quickly.
Okay, sir. Thank you. One last question. Are the students who are admitted through IIT Jodhpur, will they be allowed to pursue part-time jobs or assistantships?
Yes. Kelly, you want to
absolutely.
give a
Yeah.
quick flavor of that? Yeah.
Of course. So yes, there was actually a question in the chat as well about the work opportunities. So as you may or may not be aware, with the student visa process within the United States, students who come in on a student visa have to be enrolled in a program for at least 2 full-time semesters before they're eligible to work off campus. As soon as you arrive to campus, you could have the option to work on campus. So if you wanted to work in an office such as admissions or careers or academic affairs or security or the library, you could work on campus up to 20 hours per week from the moment you start the program. So that is certainly an option if you are looking for additional funding while you're here. In terms of off-campus employment, so essentially like an internship, you would be eligible in your final semester. So you would be enrolled in summer and fall, and then in spring, you would have the option to potentially pursue a part-time internship while you're finishing your coursework. The program includes, each of the degree programs includes both either an internship or a field project. So if you complete a field project, which is one of our consulting opportunities during your semesters, you would not be required to complete the internship, but you may be interested in completing an internship as well. There are a number of our students who complete both a field project and an internship. Obviously with your consolidated time frame, this is the type of thing you're going to want to work closely with your career coach on in terms of maximizing the opportunities. Once you have finished the program, you're eligible for work authorization called OPT. Debarshi referenced it. Typically, international students may only qualify for 12 months of work authorization after finishing a degree. But with a STEM designated program, students have the option to stay for up to 36 months, so 3 years of employment after finishing one of our programs. There were some questions I know as well about.
So I saw.
Yeah, Debarshi. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, about the dual degree students considered for a 2 year. So essentially all our programs we are an AACSB certified school. So, our programs are all AACSB equivalent programs. So they are accredited worldwide to, to any business program, leading business program that you can find. With regard to work permit, etc., Kelly just explained how that process works. You can, after your first semester of studying, you're also eligible to kind of apply for teaching assistantships or research assistantships to specific professors or for specific courses. So that's another opportunity for on-campus work as well.
There was a question as well. Yes, so obviously the teaching assistants, research assistantships. So obviously the benefit of the partnership is this discounted tuition. Unfortunately, because of this heavily discounted tuition, we're not able to provide additional scholarships on top of that. So the advertised price that we offer for this partnership is the lowest price that we can offer for the tuition. There are some international loans that are offered to international students without a US cosigner. Those companies, which I'm happy to talk more about offline, are Prodigy and Empower. These are companies that will offer loans to international students do not require a US cosigner to that loan. So that might be something to think about as well, as you're thinking about your program. Really quick, we're happy to continue discussing. I'm going to be posting a link in the chat. There are many of you I know who delightfully joined us without pre-registering, which is fine. But I want to make sure that we do get your contact information so that we can certainly continue to engage with you and send you follow-up information about our programs, as well as career outcomes, resources, all that. So if you have not yet, if you do not pre-register with us, I just ask that if you quickly put in your name and email in that form, we can get you more information as well via email.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. I have one question.
Sure.
So I just wanted to ask, keeping current situation in mind of COVID and all these crises going on, and US is worst affected, as we all know, like is going through it. So what is the current things that Brandeis is planning if we come into IITJ this year, if hopefully I get admit, and what is like, are we able to physically be able to join that program next year soon, or it will be on virtual mode only and online mode only?
Great question. I think we are all hoping that we will be in person. So currently, our program is actually hybrid. We have multiple classes that are in person and some that are online. The advantage. I mean, obviously, nobody knows what's going to happen in the future, right? And I think going forward, we are hoping that by this summer, we will be in a better position so that we can all be in person as we were before COVID, pre-COVID. I mean, that's the hope, that's our plan. But just to give you an idea about how we kind of handle this in the case of very bad a spike in infection. So Brandeis basically partnered with an organization that's known as the Broad Institute. So the Broad Institute is sort of the leading group or research institute behind the hospitals in the Boston area, Mass General, Brigham Women's. So these are the top within all of these hospitals are like the top research hospitals in the US. They are the leading hospitals in the US. And the Broad Institute essentially has a program that they administer on our campus, which essentially provides free testing for all students, faculty, staff. Anytime that you're on campus, you kind of have to have. We kind of have a mobile passport, which you're obviously familiar with, which makes sure that everybody is safe as they interact within the campus. And with that, over the last it's almost been a year now. Over the last 1 year, we actually have been very successful at maintaining extremely low rates of infection in our community. So that's how we have tackled the worst months. And we continue to administer this program as we go forward until we get to a situation where we are completely free from this pandemic.
Okay, thank you.
A question came in about the number of spots available in this program. Certainly, Manish, if you would like to talk about the IIT size of the class, and then I can certainly speak on the Brandeis side.
Yeah, so as of now, we don't have any ceiling on this in this regard from IITJ side. Yeah.
Yeah. That's actually similar. So right now, this is a brand new partnership for us as well. And so we do not have a cap on the enrollments that we are looking for. We look at each applicant individually to determine if they're a good fit for the program. And so we are hopeful that we will get a number of qualified candidates. And so we do have capacity to admit as many qualified students as apply.
And one other thing I think we should mention also, that irrespective of the program that you join, whether you join the MSBA or the MSF or the MAIEF, once you are through your core requirements, some of which are already met by your courses at IIT, all electives are cross-program electives. So that means, for example, I teach a class on venture capital entrepreneurial finance. And the students from all different programs take my class, including the MBAs. And the advantage is that you would actually be working with and on projects with students across all the programs. So there is really no silo as such by program. It just depends on what you really want to do, what career objectives you have, and so on.
So we have a question in the chat about the MA program and if it requires math as a requirement in the undergrad degree. The MA program is looking for students who have a foundational course in statistics, as well as an introductory micro and macro course. So we are looking for students to have some type of foundational economics and statistics background. Obviously, as part of the IIT program, you're doing coursework in these related areas. And so, you know, even though you may not have as much in your undergraduate program, depending on the coursework at IIT, you could also qualify based on the coursework you're completing there. So. Similarly, just so you're aware, the Msf program, which Debarshi may have mentioned, is looking for some foundational finance as well as either an advanced quantitative course. So calculus, linear algebra, you know, statistics, something like that. And then the MSBA program is just looking for a foundational statistics course. Other questions?
And Kelly, just for my understanding also, like after this degree, like the students will have 3 years to search job as well as to work there. And if they get their H1 or something sponsored, then they can continue.
That's exactly right, Manish. Yeah, there
Okay.
is a period after, as you're in your final semesters, you apply for OPT and you kind of set a start date, which usually students will choose a few months out after graduation. I think they give you 90 days to find a position. And so most students will put their OPT as starting 3 months out to give themselves plenty of time to look for a position. And then once they start their OPT, they have the 3 years. And then certainly, as you said, if students are sponsored during that time, they can stay and continue to work.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay.
And also just to add to it, if you visit our careers page, you will see the career outcomes where we very clearly mentioned the percentage of students that have kind of secured internships and jobs upon graduation. On every cohort, actually, there is always a percentage that already have a job. Sometimes even as early as 1 semester before graduation. And many get a job immediately upon graduation, and then some take a little longer. I mean, there's always outcomes all across the board. The important thing to realize is that one of the things that that we pay a lot of attention to, but what you might also want to pay attention to is your communication skills. Very important, because you're competing. I mean, on the technical side, I can guarantee you that you will be able to compete with the best of the best in your cohort. I mean, there is absolutely no question about that. So what really it boils down to is your communication and your personality. And the more that you can actually work on that, and we offer you great opportunities to work on that. Like, for example, our MSF career coach has weekly coffee chats that she organizes. Come in for an hour and just have a conversation with different people, and that basically gets you to kind of, in that conversational mode to start talking impromptu on a subject, gives you the ability to kind of, just get more confident in your communication abilities. And there are many such similar opportunities that you get. So that's one of the things I wanted to mention. And also to clarify on the OPT side, what is the advantage? The real advantage is that to kind of work permanently, at the end of the day, you need a H-1B sponsorship from the company. And as you know, H-1B, it's an annual application process. Each year, whichever company you're working for puts in your application. And it's a lottery system, right? So you either get it or you don't. So the advantage is that having a 3-year OPT gives you at least 3, sometimes 4 chances to enter into that lottery, right? So the luck factor that you typically get on a 1 year is, is tremendously kind of the probability of you actually being successful increases tremendously because you get repeated chances at that. So that's the real advantage of the STEM designation programs.
There
Yeah,
was
great. Thank you.
yeah, there was a question in the chat about the eligibility criteria for AI and business analyst. Just to clarify, are you thinking about eligibility into like the business analytics program, or what types of job criteria is that type of position looking at? If you either want to continue chatting or just unmute yourself.
Hello, Kelly.
Hi.
This
Yes.
side Lankesh.
Hi.
Actually, I want to ask about after completion of AI. So, which sector we get job? Likewise, in a business analyst or somewhere else.
Debarshi, do you want to
Sure. So the business analytics program, the MSBA program, the jobs are cross industry. So many of them work in, so for example, we have students who graduated and go to Google. We have students who graduate and go to Amazon. So it's across the board. Essentially, any firm that has an analytics component to it, are looking to hire you. It's industry agnostic. So it could be in marketing, it could be in finance, it could be in operations, it could be, anywhere really, real estate. So health, another big field where analytics is huge actually. So we actually have a couple of students who were placed in the health sector as well. So opportunities are across sectors, and when you're working in an analytics job, in most cases the entering position is that of a senior analyst or analyst, depending on the company, and obviously then it goes, you make progression from there. In the fintech sector, you are kind of looking more at there are two options. Most big financial firms, and in Boston there are a lot of them, because Boston is sort of the global headquarters of mutual funds. Whole bunch of big mutual fund companies, buy-side companies are in Boston. So all of these companies have internal internal divisions that actually are incorporating more technology into the process. And apart from them, there are more young companies, which are mostly in the startup world, or just mature startups. I would count Robinhood as one such company, where they are looking for folks who have fintech ideas and experience to join them. So so it's sort of a slightly diversified area where you can actually go into some exciting fintechs. You can also go into the established companies. There was a whole bunch of questions there.
Yes.
I saw one on the engineering background. Is it necessary? The answer is no.
Yeah, absolutely. Students come into our programs with a wide variety of backgrounds. As I said, for our programs, we're really looking for just foundational statistics. I mean, the idea of the MSBA program is we are tooling you up for these skills. And so just coming in with sort of a basic foundation in statistics or some programming or something like that, I think can be an advantage. But no, we are not, there's no required major or background that you need. Another question, Debarshi, that came in, and Manish certainly as well, is will the dual degree add value if they're looking for a Ph.D. In a related field?
Absolutely. Though, if you are looking for a PhD, I would encourage you to talk to the program director very early on in your program. And it also depends on what area you are thinking about for a PhD. So to give you 2 examples, if you're thinking about in economics, then you should focus on the MAIEF program. If you're thinking for finance, you can focus on either the MAIEF or the Msf program, either way. But if that is in your mind, then when you come in to Brandeis, first thing you should do is speak to your program advisors and then connect to the program directors, because your path would be slightly different than that of the standard or the others who are not looking for a PhD.
There was also a question about how much knowledge potentially of coding or statistics required before joining MSBA. So as Debarshi mentioned, there's no requirement to come in with a programming language. I think there are students who do come in with some familiarity of programming, particularly maybe Python or something, but it's not required. The only required course is statistics, is just a foundational statistics course. And so as long as you have that background, just again, a basic finance course, a statistics course, you would be able to be eligible for the program. So we're looking at your academics. So not only your statistics, obviously course, but also your undergraduate coursework. Again, if you're supplying IIT grades, potentially that coursework. Again, there's letters of recommendation, your essay. So we're looking at, Debarshi talked a lot about communication skills. And I think I can't also reiterate the importance of that, both from an admissions perspective as well from an employment perspective. And then another question came in about, are we only looking at application part of statistics here, applied statistics?
Yeah, I mean, I think basically what you really need is a good understanding of probability and statistics, right? So if you have a good understanding of these 2, I think you're fine. And applied statistics versus theory, yeah, definitely we're looking at more applied statistics. So not the theory. Knowing the theory would be good though, but that's not what we're looking for. Just to tell you that even if you don't have a coding background or you haven't done coding ever, and we will start you off from scratch. There is no question about that. We don't need you to have it. You might want to kind of try out something to see if it is for you. If you really have an interest in analytics and that's what you are in fintech and that's what you want to go, then you need to know coding. And so coding, it might not be for you, or it might be for you. So many students, for example, in our introductory Python class, many students enroll because they want to find out if this is something that they can get excited about. And they either are or they are not. And if they're not, then they just drop it and go to, they take the Python class, but then they don't pursue anymore into the fintech area or into the heavy analytics area. And those who like it, then they go on and do it.
So is there any other question? So we are on time, and so I think very good. And just I would like to add something only that so the whole idea for this tech MBA offered by IIT Jodhpur, and also the dual degree program in which a student can earn an MBA degree and also a MS or MA degree from a foreign partner institute, is that in today's world, MBA, a conventional MBA is not sufficient. Like, it's basically technology and managerial skills have become inseparable. So to nurture our students with that thing, we are offering this tech MBA as well as dual degree. So to the question of pursuing a PhD, or also about the job prospects, a dual degree offers you that both the technological aspects as well as the managerial aspects. So it prepares you well for taking up a job as well as for higher education, because without technology, management is handicapped. So, and now as you see, if you see the newspaper items, the companies are looking for technology also in the managers. So if you are even for CEO roles, you are expected to be very good and well aware of technology. And so that is the idea of this dual degree, and it is complementary in nature. So on one hand, you are earning MBA degree, and on the other hand, you are earning business analytics or specialized degree like international economics and MS in finance. So this is the idea that is for your consideration. Yeah. Yes. Over to you, Debarshi and Kelly.
Thank you, Manish. I think that's captures the whole essence of what we are trying to do. And so I would like to thank everybody for joining us today. Manish, also thank you for organizing this opportunity to address some of these issues. I hope this was helpful. We are happy to obviously answer any questions, and let us know. Kelly?
Yes, thank you. So I've added in, again, you can always reach Brandeis with more questions at Global Admissions. I've also put my direct email in the chat box. So you can, as I mentioned, for those that registered in advance or have filled out the form since, we will be in touch with more information. And we will be happy, again, if you have additional questions for Brandeis, you can always reach out at any time. We also offer, one-on-one appointments. So if you find that it would be helpful to talk additionally with a member of our team or a current student in a program, just to learn more about the Brandeis community or the program, we are happy to accommodate that as well. So great. Thank you all again. Manish, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for making it convenient. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you all for joining today. Bye-bye.